guys, have you ever been in a thunderstorm? It's one of those things that it shocks you, interrupts your day if you're not prepared for it. I remember the first time I was in a thunderstorm, I was walking home, and I probably was in thunderstorms before this, but from my conscious memory. And I was coming from school. I was on my way, and I heard something. And then I realized that I can hear it getting closer, and out of nowhere, I'm soaking wet. And while I'm soaking wet, I'm running to the gate to get to my house. So the next time, what I realize is, while the water's coming down, I don't want to be soaked. So what I do is I take the opportunity to make sure that I look at the clouds to make sure it's not cloudy. And now I have a poncho or an umbrella. And the next time it was raining, I noticed that it was about to rain. So what I did was I grabbed my umbrella or my poncho, put it on, and I never run, but I walk a little faster. And I did get soaked from the bottom down a little bit, but not as much as last time around. And it was a little better. And then I continued. And then at one point, I realized when it was raining, I was in my vehicle. Even before that, I was in one of my parents' vehicles. And it rained, and while it was raining, it did not interrupt my journey. We didn't go any faster. We didn't go any slower. We just continued. The only hindrance was the windshield wipers had to go a little faster, and you had to be a little bit more attentive. But I wasn't wet at all. But I was on my journey. And then you had a thunderstorm, and this time the thunderstorm took place when I was home. I had no plans to go anywhere. My plans was to stay home, and though I hear the storm on the outside, I can see the lightning through the window. It did not affect me at all. I did not get wet, and I wasn't even concerned. I say that to say this. We always have the question, why do bad things happen to good people? How is it that the good seem to always die young? Why is it when I try to do right, I feel as if bad chased me down? Why every time I see something in my life that's going right, I have to also deal with the things that go wrong? And lastly, in many situations, God, why is it that I'm always trying to do the right thing, Father? And in that moment, the same thing that happens to the person that did not follow you happens to me. And the Bible has this analogy. It says, well, it rains on the just and the unjust. What God is saying is that when it rains, I'm not going to differentiate where it falls. I'm going to let it fall in the area I ordained it to fall in, and my just will be in it, and the unjust will be in it. So God, why? And God spoke to me and revealed to me what He does is this. The difference is with the just and the unjust is that we have to look at it from a perspective that is correct from God's eyes. He's saying that what I did with my children is that in the rain I position you differently. In the rain I cover you. You will experience the thunder and the water coming down, pouring. But you see, when you're covered underneath the umbrella, only your foot get wet. When you're covered in the vehicle, only the outside and your visions get blurry. But when you're covered underneath the house, it doesn't interrupt what you're doing inside the house. It happens on the outside. So what I do with my children, He's saying He covers you. But God, how do you cover me? What is the cover that you have for me? And He responded to me and saying, it is your faith. That your faith is your covering in the storm. That if your faith is strong enough, you won't miss the storm. And don't get mad, don't get frustrated, because God won't take you out of the storm. But say to yourself, God, I have the faith in you in the storm. Let's see what you're about to let me do in this situation. Because some of us don't realize how impactful, important our faith is. Not when it's sunny, but when it's You see, faith is not fully effective in our lives and shows its power in the midst of the sunny days. But in the days when it's raining and it's pouring down, that's when your umbrella becomes very impactful. In fact, your umbrella seems like a burden on sunny days. It's one more thing you have to carry. So let's talk about faith like an umbrella. The kind of faith that only partially covers you. Some days it's good, some days it's bad. It's the kind of faith that on good days it feels like a burden because it's hard for you to do the right thing because you're still caught up on your desires. So it's a burden until it rains and you realize that it covers you. Though you may get wet on your lower half, so to speak, you're still covered. Some of us have faith like an umbrella, and that is okay. Some of us have faith like a poncho. It is fitting, but if you don't hold yourself correctly, you will still get wet. Your face will get damped a little bit, and your foot will still get soaked. But you're still still covered for most of your body. And for some of us, we have faith like a vehicle. See, through the storm, I can still function. I'm still on my journey, but my vision gets blurry sometimes. And I have to be careful because if I don't pay attention keenly, I might lose my way, but I'm still covered and I don't get wet. And for others, we have faith like the house. We are so covered that our environment is covered, our personal belongings and things are covered. Our dreams are covered by our faith. Our vision are covered by our faith. Our plans for today is covered by our faith. So when it rains, it doesn't interrupt those things. You're still fully operational because you have that covering. God's children, what level of faith do you have? The umbrella? The poncho, the car, or the house? God did not say He would take you away from the storm. God will help you get through the storm. One, because your greatest abilities, your greatest gifts, your greatest accomplishments are going to come through the storm. See, the scripture reading today was about Noah. Noah had many great qualities. But everyone who knows of Noah knows about how he handled himself in a storm. You see, your purpose is tied up in a storm. So God's not going to take you out of the storm. He's going to show you how to cover yourself, equip yourself for the storm. So when the storm hits, you're going to be separated from the people who does not have the faith or the purpose He has given you. What we know of Noah is that there was a great storm. In fact, I would go on a limb and say it was the greatest storm that have hit this earth because everything was destroyed except for what was covered underneath the ark. See, now the ark itself is a physical structure. But I want you to realize that the ark itself was a physical representation of the faith of Noah. Because of his faith, he built the ark. Because I want you to realize that at that time, there wasn't such thing as rain. No one doesn't know what rain was because until that day that it rained, it never rained before on the earth. In fact, there was a pocket of water in the earth, a pocket of water above the earth that keeps the earth almost like a vacuum, a controlled environment. And how the plants got watered was from inside of the earth. The water comes up like dew. But God, over 100 years prior to the rain, came and spoke to the man and says, "You're righteous. I want you to build something for something no one has ever seen, including yourself. Do you have the faith in me to follow the instructions when you have no point of reference other than my word?" Is God calling you to do something that seems impossible? Is God calling you to do something that no man has ever seen, including yourself, and you're holding yourself back? That is God speaking to you. The power of Noah's faith was in the ability to trust God in the unknown. See, faith is powerful when you can activate it, when you start to trust God in the unknown. You trust God in the darkness. You trust God in the storm. You trust God when you're compromised. So God came to him about something he has never seen, to build something he has never seen. See, we walk by faith and not by sight.